You ever had one of those days where someone's disrespect just snaps something inside you? I was on the Chicago Metro when a kid decided 5 seats belonged to him. And what happened next? Well, no one on that train forgot it. If you've ever dealt with people who think the world revolves around them, stick around till the end. This story might just make you smile. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more true human stories like this. It was one of those chilly Chicago afternoons when the wind bites just enough to make you question why you didn't grab a heavier jacket. I was running a little late for an appointment downtown, so instead of driving, I took the metro. The train was already packed when I stepped on. People crammed together, holding coffee cups, backpacks, earbuds in, everyone in their own little world. The usual metro smell hit me, metal, old air, and the faint scent of someone's takeout. I scanned for an empty seat, but almost every spot was taken. And then I saw him, a teenager, maybe 16, stretched out across 5 seats like he owned the place. His legs were hanging off one, his backpack sprawled across 2 more, and he was blasting music straight from his phone speakers. Not even earbuds, just loud trap music echoing through the entire car. I stood there for a second, trying not to roll my eyes. Everyone else was pretending not to notice, staring at their phones or looking out the window. Classic Chicago commute, nobody wants to get involved. I stepped closer and said, as politely as I could, "Hey man, could you move your bag so I can sit?" He looked up, smirked and said, "Nah, I don't think so, man." The way he said it wasn't just disrespectful, it was smug, like he thought this was funny. I felt my jaw tighten, but I took a deep breath. "Seriously?" I said, still trying to keep my voice calm. "I just need 1 seat. You're taking up 5. He rolled his eyes, leaned back, and turned his music up even louder. I could feel a few people watching now, waiting to see what I'd do. My first instinct was to just walk away, but something about his attitude, the smirk, the tone, the complete lack of respect, lit a spark in me. I reached down, grabbed his backpack, felt its weight to make sure it didn't have a laptop or anything fragile inside, and without a word, I threw it a few rows down the car. The sound it made when it hit the floor was louder than I expected. Heads turned. Conversations stopped. The music, somehow, still blaring from his phone, became the soundtrack to the silence. He shot up, his face red. "Yo, what the hell, man?" he yelled. "Go get my bag." I looked right at him and said, calm as ever, "You can either fight me for it or go get it yourself." He blinked, caught completely off guard. I'm not some gym freak, but I'm built solid, about 200 pounds, broad shoulders. He was tall but thin, more attitude than muscle. He glanced around, probably realizing no one was going to back him up. After about 5 seconds of silent tension, he cursed under his breath and went to get his bag. The second he stood up, I sat down, right in the space he'd been hoarding, and motioned for a lady nearby to take the next spot. She smiled awkwardly and sat down. 2 others followed. Within seconds, those 5 seats were filled with tired, thankful commuters. The kid came back clutching his bag, staring at us like he couldn't believe what had just happened. "You're a freaking psycho," he said. I shrugged. "Nah, just someone who's tired of people acting like the world revolves around them." He looked like he wanted to say something, maybe even swing, but he didn't. Instead, he stormed off to the far end of the car. The silence lingered for a moment. Then, out of nowhere, the older man sitting across from me chuckled. "About damn time someone did that," he said. A few others laughed softly. Even the woman next to me smiled and whispered, "Thank you." It wasn't about being a hero or trying to start something. It was about that one moment where you're faced with the choice. Do you stay quiet? Or do you remind someone that basic respect still exists? The rest of the ride was quiet. I could finally hear the train's wheels grinding on the tracks instead of that blaring music. The air felt lighter, like everyone could finally breathe again. I glanced out the window as the city flashed by. The graffiti walls, the old brick buildings, the skyline in the distance catching the afternoon light. For a few minutes, I thought about what just happened. Did I go too far? Maybe. Yeah, I shouldn't have thrown his bag. But sometimes, standing up for yourself or others isn't about being right or wrong. It's about setting a boundary. About saying, no, this isn't how the world works. I've seen too many people let small disrespect slide. The loud music, the cutting in line, the rude comments, and it just piles up. It's like everyone's scared to say something because confrontation feels messy. But maybe a little mess is what we need once in a while to remind people that other humans exist around them. When the train slowed at my stop, I stood up. The kid was still at the other end, glaring at me but saying nothing. I gave him a small nod, not mockery, not victory, just acknowledgement. As I stepped off the train, the cool Chicago wind hit me again. I pulled my jacket tighter and started walking. The city noise swallowed me. Cars honking, people shouting, the faint buzz of life everywhere. And in that chaos, I couldn't help but smile a little. Not because I won anything, but because for once, someone like that kid got a taste of real consequences. Not from a cop, not from a teacher, just from another person refusing to be disrespected. Later that night, I told a friend about it. He laughed and said, "Dude, that's savage." But I didn't feel savage. I just felt human. The next morning, I got back on the metro. Different crowd, same kind of vibe. People tired, quiet, lost in thought. But I noticed something small. There was a teenager standing near the same section where that kid had been yesterday. He was holding his backpack in his hands, not on the seats. Maybe he learned from what happened. Maybe someone told him. Or maybe it was just a coincidence. Either way, it made me smile. I found an open seat near the door and sat down. Outside, the city rolled by brick, block by block, just like always. But something felt different. For once, I felt like I'd actually made a ripple, however small, in this massive city full of strangers. As the train rattled on, I thought about my dad. A quiet man who always said, "Son, the world doesn't owe you kindness. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't show it." And I realized something. Maybe standing up for yourself and for others is a kind of kindness. Not the soft, smiling kind, but the real kind, the kind that keeps people honest. Sometimes, life gives you a moment where you can either stay silent and let disrespect pass, or you can stand tall and remind the world that decency still matters. That day on the Chicago Metro, I chose the second option. And I'd do it again.